Before we begin, please subscribe and hit that like button if you enjoy these real-life stories. Your support helps us share more incredible true tales from everyday people. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. You're retiring early? Must be nice. My coworkers found out about my 401k, then expected me to fund their emergencies. I never thought my retirement would become the office's business. But here I am, sitting in my car in the parking lot of Morrison & Associates, hands gripping the steering wheel, trying to decide if I should even go inside anymore. 3 more weeks. That's all I have left before I'm done with this place forever. 3 weeks that suddenly feel like 3 years. My name is David Chen, and I'm 47 years old. In exactly 21 days, I'm retiring from my job as a senior data analyst at a mid-sized insurance company in suburban Chicago. I've worked here for 18 years, ever since I graduated from the University of Illinois with my master's degree in statistics. 18 years of early mornings, late nights, endless spreadsheets, and office politics that I've mostly managed to avoid by keeping my head down and my personal life private. That privacy, I've learned, was the most valuable thing I had, and I destroyed it with one careless conversation. Let me back up. I need to explain how I got here, both literally to this parking lot where I'm having a mild panic attack, and figuratively to the point where I can retire at 47 while most of my coworkers will be working well into their 60s or beyond. It wasn't luck. It wasn't an inheritance. It wasn't some get-rich-quick scheme or cryptocurrency gamble. It was something far more boring and, apparently, far more controversial: discipline and planning. I grew up in a working-class neighborhood on the south side of Chicago. My parents immigrated from Taiwan in the early 70s with almost nothing. My father worked as a line cook, my mother as a seamstress. They spoke broken English, faced discrimination I can only imagine, and somehow managed to save enough money to send both me and my younger sister to college. I watched them sacrifice everything: new clothes, vacations, restaurant meals, any kind of luxury, to build a better life for us. The lesson stuck. Maybe too well, according to some people. When I started at Morrison & Associates at 29, I was making $48,000 a year. Not bad for the late 90s, but not great either. I had student loans, a beat-up Honda Civic, and a studio apartment that smelled faintly of the Indian restaurant downstairs. But I had something else too: a clear memory of my parents' struggles and a determination to never be financially vulnerable. I started contributing to my 401k immediately. Not the recommended 3% or even the 10% that the financial advisors suggested. I put in 15% from day one, and I increased it by 1% every single year. When I got raises, I didn't upgrade my lifestyle. I upgraded my savings rate. When I got bonuses, they went straight into investments. When my coworkers were buying new cars and bigger houses, I was driving my 13-year-old Civic and living in a modest 2-bedroom condo I'd bought during the housing crash. I'm not saying I lived like a monk. I took vacations, though I usually drove instead of flying and stayed in budget hotels. I dated, though I always suggested free activities like hiking or museum days. I bought a newer car eventually, but it was a 3-year-old Toyota Camry, which I still drive today at 14 years old. I enjoyed my life, but I was always aware that every dollar I spent was a dollar that couldn't compound and grow. My coworkers thought I was cheap. They weren't entirely wrong, I suppose, but I preferred to think of myself as intentional with money. When they went out for expensive team lunches, I'd pack something from home or grab a cheap sandwich. When they complained about needing to work until 65 or 70, I'd smile and nod, but think about my own plans. When they financed new furniture or took on car payments or upgraded to houses they could barely afford, I quietly maxed out my 401k, my Roth IRA, and put extra into a taxable brokerage account. I won't pretend I never judged them. I did. Silently, but I did. When Sarah from accounting would complain about being broke while sipping a $7 latte and showing off her new designer purse, I'd think about how those small choices added up. When Marcus in claims would talk about his car payment being more than my mortgage, I'd wonder why he needed a BMW on an insurance adjuster's salary. When Jennifer in HR would stress about her daughter's private school tuition while planning an all-inclusive resort vacation, I'd question her priorities. But I kept these thoughts to myself. That's the thing about being the frugal one. You learn to shut up about it because people get defensive fast. Nobody wants to hear that their financial struggles might be partially self-inflicted or that they could have made different choices. So I stayed quiet, did my job well, and watched my nest egg grow. By my early 40s, I had crossed the $1 million mark in total investments. By 45, I was at $1.4 million. At 46, after a particularly good year in the market, I hit $1.7 million. I ran the numbers constantly, obsessively even. Using a 4% safe withdrawal rate, I could pull $68,000 a year without touching the principal. Factor in that my condo was paid off, my car was paid off, and I had no debt whatsoever, and that $68,000 would go further than the $90,000 I was currently making while dealing with Chicago traffic, office politics, and stress that was starting to manifest as tension headaches and insomnia. The decision to retire early became obvious. Why keep working when I didn't need to? Why spend my late 40s and 50s in a cubicle when I could travel, pursue hobbies, volunteer, and actually enjoy life while I was still healthy and energetic? 6 months ago, I scheduled a meeting with my boss, Richard Morrison, the grandson of the company's founder and a man who had never worried about money a day in his life. I told him I'd be retiring at the end of October. He was shocked, confused, and then slightly offended. Retire? David, you're 47. You've got 20 years left, easy. Are you going to another company? We can counter any offer. No other company, Richard. I'm just done working. He stared at me like I'd announced I was joining a cult. Done working? What are you going to do? Travel, read, maybe take some classes, work on my health, spend time with my sister's kids. I don't know, enjoy my life. But how will you afford it? You're not even 50. I kept my answer vague. I've saved and invested. I'll be fine. He clearly didn't believe me, but eventually accepted my resignation. I gave him 6 months' notice as a courtesy, figuring I'd help train my replacement and leave on good terms. The plan was to tell no one else until absolutely necessary, finish out my time, and slip away quietly into early retirement. That plan lasted until 3 weeks ago. It was a Thursday afternoon, around 3 o'clock, that dead time when everyone's too tired to be productive but too caffeinated to go home. I was in the break room making my usual afternoon green tea when Angela Martinez walked in. Angela was a friend. At least I thought she was. She's 52, works in underwriting, and has been at Morrison & Associates even longer than me. She's got 3 kids, 2 in college and 1 in high school, and she's constantly stressed about money. Her husband works in construction, and they seem to live paycheck to paycheck despite dual incomes that should have been comfortable. David, I heard you're leaving us, she said, pouring herself coffee from the pot that had been sitting there since morning. Richard announced it in the management meeting. He said we need to start looking for your replacement. Yeah, end of October is my last day. I kept my tone casual, hoping she wouldn't probe. So where are you going? Microsoft? Google? I heard they're paying insane money for data people. I'm not going anywhere, actually, just retiring. She laughed. Actually laughed. Come on, seriously, where are you going? I'm serious, I'm retiring. The laughter died. Wait, you're how old? Like 45? 47. And you're retiring? As in, not working anymore? Her voice had taken on an edge I couldn't quite identify. That's the plan. She set down her coffee mug with a sharp clink. Must be nice. There it was. That phrase. Those 3 words that would come to haunt me. I've been planning it for a long time, I said carefully. Planning what? How do you just retire at 47? Did you win the lottery or something? I should have walked away. I should have mumbled something about inheritance or changed the subject. Instead, like an idiot, I told the truth. No lottery. I've just been maxing out my 401k and other investments since my first day here. Compound interest, you know? It adds up. Her expression shifted through several emotions in rapid succession. Confusion, disbelief, calculation, and then something that looked uncomfortably like resentment. You've been maxing out your 401k for 18 years? Pretty much, yeah. So what, you're like a millionaire or something? The question was intrusive, and I knew I should have deflected, but her tone was accusatory, like I'd done something wrong, and I got defensive. I've done okay, lived below my means, invested the difference. It's not complicated. Not complicated, she repeated flatly. Right, easy for you to say. Some of us have actual expenses, kids, houses, life. I'm not saying. You know what? Good for you, David, really. Must be nice to not have any responsibilities. She grabbed her coffee and walked out, leaving me standing there confused and vaguely insulted. I have responsibilities? I wanted to shout after her. I was responsible with my money. I was responsible with my planning. I sacrificed and saved while you and everyone else was spending every dime you made. But I didn't say any of that. I just finished making my tea and went back to my desk. That should have been the end of it. But in an office of 80 people, gossip spreads like wildfire in a drought. By Friday morning, half the office seemed to know I was retiring early. I got looks in the hallways, some curious, some envious, some openly hostile. Marcus from Claims stopped by my desk before lunch. Hey man, heard you're getting out early. That's awesome. You must have some serious cash saved up, huh? I've been pretty frugal, I said, not looking up from my computer. Yeah, Angela mentioned you've been maxing your 401k forever. Smart move. I keep meaning to increase mine, but you know how it is. Money's tight. Marcus drove a $60,000 car and lived in a house twice the size of my condo. Money wasn't tight. Priorities were just different. It's never too late to start, I offered. He laughed. Easy for you to say. You don't have 3 kids in travel sports. Do you know what tournament fees cost? It's insane. I'm sure, I said, turning back to my screen in what I hoped was a clear dismissal. He didn't take the hint. So, like ballpark, what kind of number are we talking about? For early retirement? Because Jennifer and I were thinking about our future, and I have no idea what we'd even need. The question was so inappropriate, I almost couldn't believe he'd asked it. That's pretty personal, Marcus. Come on, we're friends. I'm not asking for your bank statements, just like a range. Are we talking 500K? A million? I really don't want to discuss my finances. Dude, don't be coy. You're leaving anyway. Throw me a bone here. Marcus, I need to finish this report. He left, but I could tell he was annoyed. That afternoon, I caught him in the break room telling a group of people that I was being secretive about my fortune and that I must have multiple millions to retire so young. I didn't. Well, not multiple millions. But the damage was done. By the following Monday, the rumor mill had transformed me from guy who saved diligently to secret millionaire to, bizarrely, trust fund baby who's been slumming it. That's when the requests started. The first came from Jennifer in HR. She caught me in the parking lot Tuesday morning as I was walking in. David, wait up! I turned, surprised. Jennifer and I weren't close. We said hello in the hallways, attended the same meetings sometimes, but that was it. Hey Jennifer, what's up? I heard about your retirement. Congratulations, that's so exciting. Her smile was bright but didn't quite reach her eyes. Thanks, I'm looking forward to it. I bet you must have done really well for yourself financially. Good for you. Warning bells went off in my head. I've been careful with money. Right. Angela mentioned you're like a financial genius or something. She laughed nervously. Listen, I hate to ask, but I'm in a bit of a bind. My daughter's private school tuition is due, and we had some unexpected car repairs last month. I'm short about $3,000, and I was wondering if you could spot me. Just until my next bonus in December, I'd pay you back with interest. I stared at her. $3,000. to someone I barely knew, because she'd made financial choices she couldn't afford and had heard through the grapevine that I had money. "Jennifer, I'm not comfortable lending money to coworkers." Her smile faltered. "Oh, I just thought, since you're doing so well and you're leaving anyway." "I'm sorry, but no. It's $3,000, David. That's nothing to you. It's a lot of money, and the answer is no." She looked at me like I'd slapped her. "Wow, okay. I thought we were friends." "We're coworkers, Jennifer. We've never even had lunch together." "Fine, forget I asked." She turned and walked away, and I knew immediately that I'd just made an enemy. I was right. By that afternoon, Jennifer had apparently told several people that I'd refused to help her in an emergency, despite being loaded. The story got embellished with each retelling until I was the heartless millionaire who wouldn't help a desperate mother keep her child in school. Never mind that the emergency was a tuition payment she'd known about for months and had presumably spent the money on other things. Never mind that her daughter's private school cost more per year than many people's entire salary. Never mind that her desperate situation was entirely of her own making. Wednesday brought another request, this time from Tim in IT. He needed $500 for medical bills, but cornered me in the men's bathroom to ask, which was weird enough that I knew something was off. When I said no, he got aggressive. "Seriously, man, you've got millions, and you can't help a brother out with $500? "I don't have millions, and even if I did, that doesn't mean I owe anyone money." "That's cold, David, really cold. I thought you were cool." "Tim, you've asked me for money 3 times in the last 6 months. I've said no every time. This isn't about being cool, it's about boundaries." "Whatever, man. Hope you enjoy your money while the rest of us are struggling." He left me standing at the urinal, feeling angry and violated. This wasn't fair. I'd worked hard, saved hard, and made sacrifices. Why was I suddenly the bad guy? Thursday brought the worst one yet. Angela, the friend who'd started this whole mess, appeared at my desk with tears in her eyes. "David, I need to talk to you. Privately." We went to one of the small conference rooms. She closed the door and immediately started crying. I don't know what to do. Miguel's hours got cut at work, and Sophia needs braces, and Lucas's car broke down, and I'm behind on the mortgage. I'm drowning, David. I'm absolutely drowning. I felt terrible for her. I really did. But I also felt manipulated. "I'm sorry you're going through this, Angela. I need help, just a loan. $20,000 would get me current on everything and give me some breathing room." $20,000. The number hit me like a physical blow. "Angela, I can't loan you $20,000. Please, I know you have it. I know you're some kind of financial wizard. $20,000 is probably nothing to you. It's not nothing. It's a significant amount of money. But you have it, right? You're retiring at 47. You must have plenty. Whether I have it or not isn't the point. I can't lend that kind of money to anyone. Can't or won't. Both. Angela, you're a friend, but this is an enormous ask. I thought we were friends. Friends help each other. Friends don't demand $20,000. She flinched at my raised voice. I took a breath, trying to calm down. "Look, Angela, I'm sorry you're struggling, but lending you money isn't going to solve your problems. You'll still have the same spending habits, the same income, the same—" "Don't you dare lecture me about my spending habits." Her tears had transformed into anger. "You don't know what it's like to have kids, to have a family, to have actual responsibilities. I have responsibilities. I've been responsible with my money for 20 years. Must be nice to be able to afford that. Some of us have lives." "What do you think I've been doing? I've had a life. I just made different choices." "Different choices," she repeated mockingly. "You mean you chose to be cheap and alone while the rest of us were living?" That one hurt. It hurt because there was a kernel of truth to it. I was alone, never married, no kids, few close friends. I'd chosen financial security over many of the things that gave other people's lives meaning. "I'm not giving you $20,000, Angela." She stood up abruptly. "Fine. I hope you choke on your money, David." She left, slamming the door behind her. I sat in the conference room for 10 minutes, shaking. By Friday, the entire office seemed to know that I'd refused to help Angela with her emergency. The story had been twisted further. Now I'd laughed at her pain and flaunted my wealth while she was losing her house. None of that was true, but truth didn't matter anymore. I was the villain in a story I hadn't asked to be part of. My last 3 weeks at Morrison & Associates have been hell. People I've worked with for years won't make eye contact with me. Someone scratched "selfish" into my car door in the parking lot. I found my lunch missing from the break room fridge 3 days in a row. Not eaten, just taken and presumably thrown away. Anonymous notes appeared on my desk calling me a greedy bastard, and worse. The requests haven't stopped either. In the last 2 weeks, I've been asked for money by Sarah from accounting, $1,500 for vet bills, Dave from claims, $8,000 for his daughter's wedding, Michelle from marketing, $4,000 for debt consolidation, Robert from risk management, $12,000 for his mother's nursing home, Lisa from customer service, $2,000 for rent. Every single request comes with the same underlying message. You have money. I need money. Therefore, you're obligated to give it to me. Every refusal makes me more of a monster in their eyes. I tried talking to Richard about it, but he was worse than useless. David, I'm not going to police interpersonal conflicts between employees. If people are asking you for money, just say no. You're an adult. They're harassing me, Richard. Someone vandalized my car. Do you have proof it was someone from the office? Who else would it be? I don't know. File a police report if you think it's that serious. But I can't accuse my employees of crimes without evidence. He didn't care. Why would he? He's a multimillionaire who inherited a company. The idea of coworkers fighting over money was probably foreign to him. I've started coming in early and leaving late to avoid people. I eat lunch at my desk with the door closed. I've stopped going to the break room entirely. 3 more weeks has become my mantra. Just 3 more weeks. But it's not just the requests or the hostility that's getting to me. It's the realization of how fundamentally different my worldview is from most of my coworkers. They see my retirement as luck, privilege, or greed. They think I stumbled into wealth or that I've been secretly rich this whole time. The idea that I systematically saved and invested for 18 years, that I chose an old car over a new one, a modest condo over a big house, home-cooked meals over restaurants, budget vacations over luxury resorts, doesn't compute for them. And when they do understand my choices, they resent them. Because my choices implicitly criticize their choices. My success at early retirement suggests that they could have done the same thing if they'd wanted to badly enough. And people hate that. They'd rather believe the system is rigged or that I had some unfair advantage than accept that their decisions have consequences. I'm not saying I'm better than them. I'm really not. They have families, friendships, experiences, and memories that I don't have. They've lived fuller lives in many ways. They've enjoyed their money instead of hoarding it. There's value in that. But there's also value in what I did. There's value in security, in freedom, in knowing that you can walk away from a job you're burned out on without worrying about making rent. There's value in not living paycheck to paycheck or drowning in debt. There's value in having options. I wish I could make them understand that I'm not their enemy. I didn't steal from them. I didn't take opportunities away from them. I just made different choices with the same 24 hours in a day and the same paychecks we were all earning. But I can't make them understand, and honestly, I'm done trying. Yesterday, something happened that crystallized everything for me. I was in the parking lot, finally heading home after a brutal 10-hour day. Angela was there, loading groceries into her Mercedes SUV. Yes, the same Angela who's losing her house and needed $20,000 drives a vehicle that cost $60,000 new and probably costs $600 a month in payments. She saw me and stopped, and for a moment, I thought she might apologize. Instead, she said, "You know what your problem is, David? You've never understood that money is meant to be spent. You've wasted your whole life saving for a future that might never come. What if you die next year? What was it all for?" I looked at her Mercedes, at her designer sunglasses, at the shopping bags from Whole Foods, at the iPhone that was newer than mine. And what if I don't die next year, Angela? What if I live another 40 years? What kind of life will you have at 70, still working because you spent everything you earned? Still stressed about money because you never learned to live below your means? She glared at me. At least I'll have lived. So will I. Just on my own terms, not my employer's. I got in my 14-year-old Camry and drove away, leaving her standing there with her hundreds of dollars of groceries and her $60,000 car and her $20,000 problem. Maybe she's right. Maybe I have wasted my life. Maybe I should have spent more, enjoyed more, lived more in the moment. But sitting here now, 3 weeks away from never having to set an alarm clock again, from never having to pretend to care about quarterly reports, from never having to deal with office politics or demanding coworkers, from being able to spend my days however I choose. It doesn't feel like waste. It feels like freedom. And the irony is that the same people who are calling me selfish and greedy for not sharing my money are the ones who taught me this final lesson about wealth. Keep it to yourself. Don't talk about it. Don't let people know you have it, because the moment they find out, they'll feel entitled to it. They'll resent you for it. They'll see you not as a person who made sacrifices, but as a resource to be exploited. I came into Morrison & Associates 18 years ago as a hopeful 29-year-old who believed that hard work and smart choices would lead to a better life. I'm leaving as a 47-year-old who learned that those things do lead to a better life. But they also lead to isolation, judgment, and resentment from the very people who made different choices. In my last 3 weeks here, I've been called selfish, greedy, privileged, cheap, and heartless. I've had my car vandalized, my lunch stolen, and my character assassinated. All because I saved money and people found out about it. The worst part? Some small voice inside me wonders if they're right. Maybe I am selfish. Maybe I should have helped Angela, or Jennifer, or any of the others. Maybe having money comes with an obligation to help those who don't have it. But then I remember, these aren't people who fell on hard times through no fault of their own. These are people who make more than the median American household income and have chosen to spend every dime of it. These are people who could have made the same choices I made but didn't. These are people who are perfectly capable of changing their financial situations but would rather complain about mine. I don't owe them my retirement fund. I don't owe them the result of 18 years of packed lunches and old cars and modest living. I don't owe them my freedom. 3 more weeks, 21 more days, 504 more hours, and then I'm done. Done with Morrison & Associates, done with these coworkers who've shown me who they really are, done with the judgment and the requests and the hostility. I'll take my 401k, my paid-off condo, my old Camry, and my carefully accumulated wealth, and I'll disappear into early retirement. I'll travel at my own pace, pursue hobbies that interest me, volunteer for causes I care about, and build the life I've been working toward for 18 years. And if that makes me selfish in their eyes, so be it. I've learned that you can't win when it comes to money. Spend it all, and you're irresponsible. Save it all, and you're greedy. Give it away, and you're an easy mark. Keep it to yourself, and you're heartless. The only answer I've found is this: make your own choices, live with the consequences, and never, never tell your coworkers about your 401k. As I finally step out of my car and walk toward the building for another day, my phone buzzes. It's a text from a number I don't recognize. Heard you're rich. My kid needs surgery. Can you help? God bless. I delete it without responding. 3 more weeks. I can survive 3 more weeks. Then I'm free. And that freedom, purchased with 18 years of discipline and sacrifice, will be worth every packed lunch, every old car, every missed happy hour, and every strained relationship. Because in the end, this is the truth they'll never understand. I'm not retiring early because I have money. I have money because I was always planning to retire early. There's a difference, and that difference is everything. The end. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video and subscribe for more real-life tales. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever been in a similar situation? How would you handle coworkers asking for money? Let's discuss. And remember, hit that notification bell so you never miss our next story.